Hey, hi, Glenn here at Home in the Gardens, and thanks for joining me. We're going to be talking straw bales today. It is year number 2 for growing vegetables in straw bales. So last year was my very first year of giving it a try. Obviously, if it's the second year, this is year number 2. Just wanted to share a few things on what I've learned so far and give you a summer update on year number 2. So this is Jax, the garden dog. And just a real simple understanding of what's happening in straw bales is you just take a straw, set it on its side, put some water, some fertilizer on it. That conditions the bale and makes an environment that is positive, perfect for plants to grow in. There's a little bit more to it, but that's the basic concept. So one of the first things that you need to know about straw bale gardening is you can use the bales for 2 years. So I set my garden up. I did 12 bales the first year to kind of get a feel for it, then decided to go to 18 bales, and I started 9 new bales this year, and I had 9 bales from last year. One of the aspects that I really like about straw bale gardening is what I'm going to call, maybe it's something real, but the polyculture nature of it is we just don't have this one solid row of everything. So as an example right here, in amongst the kale, I have some peas growing. There's beans coming up here, another variety of kale, and I think I even have some onions growing down in here that will come up. So you get this really fun blend of food. Is it the silver bullet to all gardening? It's an additional type of gardening. If you only have some limited space, you can grow a lot of food. I've been fortunate enough to be growing things in soil for over 40 years now. So this is new to me, so it's a different concept. I don't think I will replace the whole garden with straw bales, but I will continue to straw bale garden. Hang out all the way to the end because I will give you the most important tip about straw bale gardening right at the end. So with that basic understanding of straw bale gardening, one of the things that you provide is it's also kind of a vertical gardening system. So you use these T-posts, put them up, and then you put some wire on them, and that wire gives you the trellis. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of a floor-to-weave. Last year I had some 5-footers, so I just started that. You saw in the intro that I was putting the wood on this morning. I didn't get my bracing across the top last year. It's okay, things still grew in the bales. But what it does is you use the wire here when you put the wood in, and this is the recommended method, putting this piece of wood in here. It pushes the T-posts on each end apart and tightens up the wire, and that wire then is what gives you the trellis effect. So in laying out the new straw bales, even though I got the bales from the same farmer, they were actually different size bales. So it's one of the things that I started to think about a little bit. What works nice is bales are roughly 3 feet when you put them in there, a little bit longer, so when you use a 10-foot 2x4 it fits in fine. But I made these little brackets because I had some leftover pipe, and I just made this little bracket and put it on a pipe across there so they would become adjustable. And they seem to work out quite nice, and they get the wire in there nice and tight. I don't know if it's technically the floor to weave, leave me a comment if you know. But just weaving them through, and that's gonna give the support all the way up. So the other thing I really like about this pipe method is it will become adjustable. So as bales change in size and move, and each year a little bit different, I can come back in and adjust the size of my pipe. Hopefully I'll just be able to drop new bales in and not have to do anything, but if I do, I've got it very adjustable. So the next thing that's taken a little bit to learn in straw bale gardening is just moisture. The whole concept of what the straw is, I mean, it has the little holes that wicks that moisture down, is I find that they're a little bit more, they fluctuate a little bit more in how they dry out and the moisture, and they need to be watered just a little bit more. That's probably been my biggest challenge so far, is just getting used to how to water them. With that said, Joel would say get some automated watering, and that's going to be next year's edition, so you'll want to look for that next year as I figure out exactly how I want to do some automated watering to this. For now, I'm just doing the classic little hose in there. I did a really nice video about, I think it was my last video in the garden, about watering, how I keep everything else wet. This is going to be very similar, but right now I'm coming in and watering probably twice a day. We've been hot, sunny, and dry, so it won't go a full day without watering. So at least twice a day, and sometimes a third one doesn't hurt. Where the automatic watering, I think, would be really nice. When everything is small, you can get in there nice and easy. As things grow, like over on the kale, they're filling up, the potatoes are filling up, and the stuff that's in between, you gotta work a little bit more to get the water. Like, I got another set of peas coming up underneath the cabbage right here, so I need to make sure that I go under and water. Another little thing is there's enough foliage in all of this. Rain, really, you can count on some rain, but you can't really count on rain. It's not going to get enough water down into them. So, and at times, another thing that I learned, which is really pretty cool, you kind of grow different crops in the bales. So second year bales are great for things, tuber plants, stuff that's going to grow down inside of here. Thus, I planted potatoes. Got a really great video about planting potatoes in straw bales. Put a link up there to that. But they are up, they're looking cool. It's pretty interesting where they come out. But it's also a place where you can plant some carrots. So I've got carrots in here, so those are going to be coming up and growing. I mentioned that third crop of peas coming up in there. Kind of fun. I do have a volunteer sunflower. There's a couple volunteers in the garden that I just don't get rid of, and it's just fine. Sunflowers are one of them. They get to come up and grow anywhere they want. But you can start to see the bales are loose a little bit. It'll be fun to get down in there and take them apart. Some of the strings are falling apart. So you really only get bales 2 years out of bales. What I'm really excited about is all of this straw is going to become part of my compost. So I'm going to be adding it either to the compost, or I might even be saving it directly to do some top dressing on some of my other plants. But this stuff is gold. It's just going to be awesome. So each year, now that I have this 18 bale, 9 bales each year coming out of rotation, that's just going to become this really incredible base of my compost, and which should make all the other gardening that much better. With the potatoes down here, those things, another thing to think about is the vertical terracing of the garden. So things that are taller are going to be all the way on the other end. I'm not directly east, west, north, south. I'm kind of at an angle east, west right here. So this gets a lot of nice sun throughout the day. So the taller vegetables down on the other end, they're going to be doing a lot better, and they won't be shading out the other side. So that's kind of another little piece that I learned in setting this up. I grow the summer squash for my mom. I'm not a huge fan, but they're going to be coming out pretty quick. This here is a big acorn squash coming up. I do like those, but I have my cherry tomatoes, 2 different types. There's one Rapunzel and then just a grape tomato down here, and they do fantastic. What I would say is you can't grow absolutely everything in straw bale, and you're like, why not? Well, probably onions. Yes, you can grow some onions in a straw bale, but I don't know what we have, 300-400 onion plants down there. Probably not the best thing. A better example of not really needing to grow everything in your straw bale is sweet corn. So sweet corn, actually the reality is sweet corn, just buy it from the local farmer or the shop, because it takes so much land to get enough sweet corn. And anyways, you get the idea, trying to fill up straw bales with sweet corn. But things that produce a lot, such as tomatoes, squash, the kale, the cabbage, those are all great things that you can grow in a straw bale. One last thing that I'd probably talk about is the soil underneath here. So I kind of, you know, when you grow up having to weed all the time and you just like a weed-free garden, you just kind of keep hoeing, and just that hoeing keeps the grass or the weeds down in between here. One thing to understand is all of the vegetables are growing in the bales, so they're not even touching the soil down there. So you literally don't have to do anything. You could set it on the lawn and you would be fine. You could set it on a parking lot and you would be fine. You could put mulch down in here, and I think at some point I will figure out exactly what I want to put down in here. For now, my big thing this year is just continuing to make sure that I don't have any weeds that go to seed, so I continue to lower the seed bank in the overall garden. So for now, I just kind of keep it nice and hoed, and it looks, I think, fairly good, because that is important. Not what your garden produces, but how it looks. Come on, let's be honest. So as I mentioned, I'm going to give you the one biggest tip about straw bale gardening, and it's real simple. Start. Just start. Don't wait till everything is perfect. Don't wait till you think you've figured it all out and you know exactly what you're going to be doing. Last year, I started with poles that were too short. I didn't even get the cross bracing on. Example, perfect right there. So, the most important thing is that you start. Nothing replaces experience and time learning. As I mentioned, 40 years of gardening in the dirt. Yep, those are the big tomatoes. Things pay off. It looks good, but that can happen here too. A couple resources that you should find out. I was fortunate enough that Joel Karsten came down, friend from college, and he helped me get those 12 bales started out last year. So a great video. Watch that one up there. You know, how to get started straw bale gardening. You will learn a lot. Secondly, follow Straw Bale Garden Club on YouTube and on Facebook, and I think they're on Instagram too. There is a ton of information. You can actually join the club and he'll send you great information and help along. A lot of wonderful short videos on how to grow this, how to grow that, how to deal with different things, and that's been helpful. So thank you, Joel, for posting all of those. Here are, just so you know, these are 8-foot T-posts. And if I had those, that's why I used them last year. So that tip of just start, use what you have. You don't need to invest a lot to get going with this, and that works. But this year, when I decided to expand and grow a little bit, I did go with these 8-foot T-posts, and they're fantastic. So there'll be another video, you know, fall harvest, when the beans are up, when we're taking the potatoes out, all of that. You'll see how high some of the stuff is up in these trellises. Anyways, thanks for following along here. I have been Glenn, at home in the gardens with Glenn, something like that. Thanks for joining along. Appreciate any support that you do, so subscribe to the channel, hit that bell, give the video a like, a thumbs up, it'd be appreciated. And most importantly, get out there and garden. Try straw bale gardening, plant some flowers, they're food for the soul. That's it. Till next time, bye-bye.